All right, so this is going to be the third time in 5 years or third time in 4 years. This pin oak's been treated for bacterial leaf scorch. So the homeowner is building a little tree house around the tree. We're gonna deadwood this too, cut some of these limbs out. So anyway, let's see if we can find some of our old treatment sites. That's definitely one right there. What you want to do is try to get them out on this root flare as much as possible. Try to get out in the sunlight, actually. Is that a rose bush? This tree's healing remarkably well. Because I know I put some in here. Oh, there we go. There's one. So it's an 11/64 hole that's going to be used for the pods. Tree DVH was 36 last time I was out here, so we did 18. I measured it too, that's about the same. So these plants and stuff, we try not to disturb as much as we can. Yeah, that's one. There's one there. Yeah, so we're gonna start drilling some holes. That's one. So tree's healing, which is always a good sign. The other thing I did last year was a deep root fertilization. And the client even said the tree seemed like it was putting out more shoots, more leaves this year and last year than it has before. I don't like to over fertilize. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So those holes, I think those are from the last time I was here, which was 2 years ago now, about a little less than 2 years ago. And yeah, you got to put holes in the tree, which isn't good. But the tree does need treatment too. Without the Oxytetracycline, the Xylella fastidiosa is going to take over the tree. And it's terminal. Without treatment, it's definitely terminal. The client loves the tree. I love the tree. So we got to keep it alive. You know, like I said, 36 DVH, 18 11/64 holes in healthy tree tissue. It's not really, in the grand scheme of things and the surface area of the tree, it's not really that much damage. Got 18 in there. It's very important to put them in when you drill the hole, because you can drill a hole and walk over here and walk over back here again and you'll never find it. So you drill a hole, put one in. So you can see too, brand new drill bit, high helix. See that healthy white xylem tissue? It pushes out these long tails, which is why it's important to use a high helix bit. There's a lot of stuff I'm learning about these Mauget pods. One of the things is, as you drill into the tree and it pushes out these long tails of healthy tissue, that's the kind of stuff you're not going to get with a regular wood drill bit. So a regular wood drill bit will actually do what they call glaze the hole. There's so much friction of it trying to get the wood out, because it's not designed for trees, that it'll cauterize the inside of the hole you're drilling and make it almost impossible for the treatment to get into the tree. So there's a feather touch to this too, because you want to go in and pull it out. You don't want to go in and pull it out while it's spinning too, because it'll do the same thing. So you drill on the way down and pull it out, and you know, after doing that hundreds of times, you get a good feel for exactly what's going to be an ideal hole for the treatment to get into. So essentially, this tube is going to puncture this. So what you got to do is, and this took me quite a few tries to get the technique dialed in. So you put the pod like that, kind of hold it with your hand together, then you take the rubber side of the mallet and you'll hear it. See if you can hear it. Ready? There it is. It's punctured. Nope, maybe a little more. Now if you could see, this tube is already filled up with the oxytetracycline, but we're not done yet. Now we take our crimp. Now the pod's pressurized. That one's good. Another important thing is you want to look around to make sure it's not leaking. I'll do this one next, get a better view. But the entire tube filled up with the solution. I don't see any air in there. And now we're just going to move on to the next one. Ready? 1, 2. That's in. The tube's filling up with solution. Then you crimp. This will probably take every bit of 3 hours for this to get into the tree. And you check them periodically. Some go faster, some go slower. You know, that's the luck of catching healthy tree tissue, and you know, perhaps less ideal tree tissue. All right, so here they all are. That took probably 10 minutes to get it started. Now you just let Mother Nature do her thing. The important thing to see is there's no leaking, the tube's filled with solution, the pod's properly pressurized, and the tree is just going to draw it up as it goes about its normal metabolic processes. Some misconceptions I've heard is I've had clients that think, okay, the prescription from the manufacturer is the diameter at breast height of the tree, which is 36 divided by 2. So 18, there should be 18 pods on this tree. There is. So some clients would say the tree's in real bad shape. Why don't you put 20 or 25 on there? You know, basically do more. So the thing I have to say about that is, if you have a headache, the headache doesn't go away 4 times quicker because you took 4 times as much medication. There's a reason for the prescription process. And most importantly, proper identification of the issue is most important. This tree, I'm able to send samples of this tree to the Agri-Sciences Department at Penn State University, which will do testing for Xylella fastidioso, which is bacterial leaf scorch, which is what we're treating today. I'm able to look at a tree, and I can't grab a leaf because these leaves are all healthy because the tree's been treated. But if you have a leaf that has bacterial leaf scorch, the telltale signs are marginal necrosis with healthy midribs, or what they call a halo effect. The outside of the leaf will start to have symptoms. It'll curl up a little bit. It's not from drought. It's not from root issues. It's from Xylella fastidiosa. The only prescription, or the only way to resolve that, is by doing these treatments. So like I said, this is the 3rd time in 4 years I've treated this tree. You know, it's kind of a lifetime thing. The bacterial leaf scorch never goes away, at least not yet. We're always looking for a solution to find out what can we do permanently. But for right now, the limits of arboriculture is to use this treatment from Mauget. I've treated dozens and dozens of trees for bacterial leaf scorch. This thing works. I was actually looking up something too called a Q-Connect system, where instead of having pods like this, you have a long series of tubes and probably 10 to 12 nozzles that connect into the tree, and the tubes all circle around and connect to a hose that goes into a pump, and you fill that up with the oxytetracycline and pump it into a tree. I can't say I'll never use that. Just for a lot of the applications I see, that's not going to be beneficial. The cool thing about this is if I have 3 oak trees on a property, I can set 3 up to start right away, and it'll all take the same 4 hours. If I have one system for 3 trees, I have to do a tree, wait 3 hours, do a tree. You know, that could take nine hours as opposed to 3. So, and there's other reasons to use it. Like I said, I'm not completely sold on it at this point, but that doesn't mean my mind won't change in the future in the light of new facts. Alrighty, it's about 12:30 now, which means they've been on there for about 3 hours. So let's see how we did. Now, obviously the reservoir is empty, but we got to make sure this is empty too. When you pull these off, let me see if I can get the sound. See, I didn't make one. When you pull these off, sometimes they'll the pressure will release suddenly, and you'll get a fine mist of the solution in your face or on your body, you know, where you don't want it. So needless to say, I'm wearing, you know, PPE. I got my gloves, glasses. I think technically you're supposed to wear long sleeves, but I'm not wearing long sleeves right now. But anyway, these all look great. The thing is that these pods have all the time in the world really to get absorbed into the tree. You know, I think I have, there's one guy I talked to that says he'll leave them on there overnight and come back the next day and get them. That's I might get there one day. Right now, I know a big concern with some of my clients are they have kids that obviously come out to you know, play in the area, and needless to say, I mean, I wouldn't want my kids playing around these things. Even though it's technically not hazardous, it's not like it's an insecticide. Here we go, another one. See, reservoir's totally empty, tube's totally empty. Pull it out. And that hole there will turn into this hole in about 2 years. The tree will compartmentalize it and we'll keep it moving around. The other thing I want you to notice is I'm all the way out in these root flares, right? So this is the butter zone right here. This is what you want as far away. Basically the zenith of the root flare, which would be right here at the top. What you don't want are these tight valleys here. You would never put these inside here. There's just not a lot of active xylem tissue to get the solution into the tree. Yeah, so 3 hours. It's about, I think, 85 degrees out. Not very humid. Perfect day for this kind of activity. You can't do this in the winter time. And another important thing is you're not really supposed to do this when there's not any when there's not a full canopy. I tell all my clients it's you know, I can't tell you in December what time I'm going to be out there in springtime to do this, because I don't know when the tree is going to have a full canopy. But needless to say, this one does. So I think we'll do it before and after too. You know, it's a pin oak. These things are always loaded with dead wood. You know, you got a white eye right here, white eye on the trunk. The client just pointed out some lower limbs that they want it removed. I'm going to show you a picture of my car. I packed every square inch of that car. With dead pin oak. That's how you got to do it sometimes. Not ideal, but you never want to tell the client no. This is a good job. You know, don't throw these things in a loose plastic grocery bag. Ziplocs are ideal. Maybe even a, I guess like a laundry detergent bottle if you cut the top off, and you can put the something hard plastic. The grocery bags, these will poke right through the side, and then you're in your car and now you got oxytetracycline all over your floorboard, which isn't good. But I've been using these gallon freezer bags since I started doing this, and they never let me down. I'm going to throw them all in there and then properly dispose of them when I get home. Yeah, good job. We'll keep you updated on this tree. It wasn't doing good when I first came here in 2020. But needless to say, it's thriving now. Banging on all cylinders, if you will. I climbed all the way up to the top. I saw a lot of healthy growth. And no real signs of dieback or any other issues.